Today's segment of Sound Balming is brought to you by Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Body Care. I cannot express to you how much we love their products. Although we use them all year, as the weather gets colder, we need these products even more. The dreaded drop in temperature, the dryness, the itchiness, and the unnecessary flakiness is inevitable. Shea butter from Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Body Care is the only thing that works for my skin and hair needs. Not only do these products cure my dry skin, the whipped butter goes on smoothly and doesn't leave that uncomfortably thick, sticky residue. Bonus? It smells absolutely amazing. There are so many different scents to choose from too. Not only do they carry skincare products, there are products for authentic living, face, shower, hair and beard, spritzers and perfumes, and bath products. Let me tell you, we cannot even keep the stuff in the studio. The entire production team as well as all our children use Jimmy and Mary's product. Jimmy and Mary's take pride in creating quality, handcrafted products from simple ingredients for the entire family. Their products are made for all skin types and are 100% handmade, 100% vegan, and 100% cruelty-free. Skincare is important. Moisture is key, and keeping our skin and hair hydrated is essential. I cannot emphasize how much we trust Jimmy and Mary's for all of our skincare needs. Hurry on up to jimmyandmarys.com and check out their products. Did I mention service is fast and efficient too? Don't forget to mention that you heard about Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Skincare on Sound Balming. Use the discount code SOUNDBALM20 to get 15% off. That's SOUNDBALM20 for 15% off at Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Skincare.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sound Bombing. I created this show for people who want to experience a radical, life-changing journey through the sounds of my diverse guests. I hope that each sound you hear on this show will strengthen your faith, encourage your dreams, and challenge you to awaken the greatness within you.
Drop the bombs. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We come to drop the bomb. Drop the bomb.
This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and a new experience.
LaMarr Darnell Shields.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time of the day it is, I would like to welcome you to my show. I am Dr. LaMarr Darnell Shields, the creator of Sound Bombing. And my goal with this show is to introduce you with ideas and people with amazing ideas that will help you unlock your full potential. Sound Bombers, can we talk about greatness just for a minute? Well, can we talk about greatness for the next 40 minutes? Think back to your high school years. Some of us got to go way, way, way back. Remember that one kid who just seemed to have it? The classmate everyone knew was going to be a great success. Mine was a smart and well-liked kid. He was a great athlete too. Let's call him Stan, of course, to protect his real identity. Stan talked a lot about big plans, but to my surprise, he never went big. Instead, he settled into a job that he never really loved as an accountant. Of course, there are plenty of phenomenal and exceptionally happy, successful accountants. It's just that my friend was not thrilled by the work. You see, Stan's dream was to be an entrepreneur. He wanted to build the great technology. Instead, he contented himself with his safe accounting position. Now, I'm not hating on accountants. Shout out to my accountant. I love my accountant. But sure, his corporate salary and title were good, yet was that really what he set out to do? Hunker down in a job that was good enough? Well, if you truly want to achieve greatness, then intentional and relentless pursuit is required. Settling into a mental cage of mediocrity is never an option. That's why today, joining me today in the Sound Bombing Studios is Reginald Gant. By day, he is a human resource professional with nearly 20 years of federal government experience backing him. Reginald is a 4-time author, ministry leader, speaker, trainer, founder of Serve4Men, LLC, where he proudly educates on the Serve principles, which he will share, which are personal development and vehicle created to use development leaders. His passion and purpose are equipped for men, fathers, husbands, and people all over the globe into their leadership role as protectors and providers as they unleash their greatness. That's why we're talking about greatness, because I have in the bomb shelter with me my man, Reginald Gant. His desired title is a servant leader, and I love it. Reginald, welcome to Sound Bombing. How are you doing, brother? How's it going?
I'm doing fantastic, and I just appreciate this opportunity to be here. I am a big fan of you.
Oh, man, I am a big fan of yours with all the things that you have been doing, taking care of your family, engaging the community, dealing with all the COVID crisis that's taking place, working with men and husbands, but also being a servant leader. Reginald, let's get down to it, man. What does greatness and success mean to you? In my intro, I talked about my boy Stan. Of course, Reginald, I can't tell you who Stan is because you might know Stan, and you might call Stan and say, hey, Shields hating on you on Sound Bombing, brother Stan. No, I'm not. I'm not hating on it. But you write about it, you talk about it, you lecture about it. So I want my listeners to know, what does greatness and success mean to you?
Absolutely. That's such a phenomenal question. And honestly, the two, for me, they tie hand in hand. Greatness and success, to me, is when you are walking into the ultimate fulfillment of who you were created to be. It's unlike Stan. So Stan had a gift of being good with numbers, which is probably why he, played it safe and stayed in the accounting world. But what ultimate greatness is to me and ultimate success is when we are actually living and walking and being and breathing the ultimate version of ourselves. So for Stan, in order for him to really have achieved his greatness, that idea, that aspiration of entrepreneurship would have been something that he would be walking in as well. It's not to say that he can't do accounting and entrepreneurship, but that greatness, that success level to me is when you are achieving at the highest levels of what you were called to do. And we know what those things are, right? Because we just get super excited every time we get a chance to talk about it.
Well, I'm so glad that you're joining me because many people are stuck in the rut. And I want people to understand, I'm not hating on Stan. Stan is phenomenal. Shout out to my accountant, Ronald Mills, who's an amazing accountant. Keep me out of jail because I got work to do. You talking about serving. But Stan, some people just get stuck, talking about my buddy Stan. He had this great dream to do these amazing things. And not saying that he's not great in his field, but I know he's not satisfied. And I know he's not being fulfilled in counting numbers. I know he's not fulfilled going into the office because I hear him complain a lot about what he could have been. And one of the things I tell people, I don't want to get shitted on. I don't want to I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have done this. What message do you have for people who sort of stuck in a rut? They know that they can do greater things, but they're just stuck in this mindset of being mediocre.
That's such a phenomenal question. And for me, it all stems with belief, Dr. Shields. One of my favorite scriptures, my very favorite book says that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And if you really break that down, as a man or woman thinks, right? So whatever we're thinking about in his heart, in his or her heart. So we're talking about feelings. So is he, so they become. So what a person thinks and feels is ultimately what they become. So for me, you have to have an internal belief system that controls your external actions. You have to wake up and believe in yourself. But more importantly, for me, I think the differentiating factor is that you have to know who you are. You have to believe that, one of the things that I tell myself all the time, that greatness is a birthright of mine, right? I was born to do this work. Now, this wasn't something that I grew up wanting to do. I had my own version of, what I thought would be success in my own eyes. But what I realized was that I was just focusing on me and mine. But the ultimate version of success is when you begin to take the focus off of self and you begin to serve other people. I believe it was Jim Rohn or maybe Zig Ziglar said that when you help enough other people get what they want in life, eventually you'll get what you want in life. So it's all about service. But for me, that internal belief system, what do you believe to be true for you and your life? And that's where everything starts. It starts here in the mind.
And I'm so glad you talked about thoughts and everything starts in your mind. I just want to let our listeners know that thoughts are not truths. Thoughts are not facts. They're just thoughts. And, I love meditation. I'm a meditation practitioner. It's a practice on a daily basis, not only just myself, but with my children. And one of the things that I share with them over and over again, when we're in this meditative state, those thoughts are going to come up. Now, Stan, you are a superhero. You talk about this. I'm a superhero in my own right, but we're not so super that we can control our thoughts. And what I tell my young people, my children, and also the listeners, let those thoughts pass. When you connect yourself to them, then there's an emotion connected to those things. And you're right, as a man thinketh, and over again, not only just as he thinketh or she thinketh, it's what do we believe? And Bishop T.D. Jakes, I was listening to him recently, he said, it's not what people say and think about you, it's what you say and think about yourself. And so if we can sort of change our mindset every morning, my mentor, Dr. Freeman Hrabowski, I loved him when he was growing up in Alabama. He said every morning he would look himself in the mirror and he would say, "Good morning, Dr. Hrabowski. You're so handsome, Dr. Hrabowski. You're so smart, Dr. Hrabowski." 8 years old. Now I'm sure his mother and all the other people in the house, grandmama, dear, big mama was like, something wrong with this boy. But he had to say it. He had to believe it. He had to put it out into the universe. And I think many of us get so stuck with these excuses. Excuses only sound good to the person who's saying them over and over again. And so as you talk about being great, as you talk about finding your purpose, as you talk about, walking into your why, what motivates you to do what you on a day-to-day basis? You got COVID, you got racism you're dealing with, you got being a father, being a husband, being a man of God, you got walking while black, you got talking while black, sitting on your porch while black, playing the lottery while black, all those things. But what motivates you, Reginald, that keeps you going when you like, some days I just don't want to do it? And then what is your why?
Yeah. I have many reasons as to why I do what I do. But one of the things that I tell myself every morning, it's actually a list of things, and I read them, right off of the wall in my office. But one of the main ones is that others are literally waiting and depending upon me to show up. And what I love about that is that, my wife and I, we have these kinds of talks often. Sometimes we are the only light that shines in a person's dark world. So it's our mandate, right? It's our responsibility. We are required to show up in the world day in and day out, because we never know who we're inspiring. Some folks will always, tell us that we're doing a fantastic job. But Dr. Shields, you and I know that there are a lot more people that are watching us from the sidelines that will never say anything to us on social media or in real life, but they are encouraged, right? Just by what we do, just by what we post, just by how they see us living our lives. So one of the things that I remind myself of often, especially for my children, right? We have 5 children. We have a daughter and 4 sons at home right now, right? Baby girl will be 21 this year. So she's grown, working, doing it, right? But we have 4 boys under the age of 10. And I know that they are waiting and depending on me to show up, to show them what manhood looks like, what fatherhood looks like, right? And I love that. But another thing that God began to whisper into my ear back around 2009 was that I would be a part of setting men, fathers, and husbands who are held internally captive free. And men, Dr. Shields, we go through a lot of things. We think a lot of things. We keep a lot of things to ourselves. Fatherlessness, probably touched, a good majority of us growing up, whether we had an active dad or an inactive dad, whether we knew who dad was or we didn't, whether he was physically, in our lives or not, right? That impacts us as men. So a lot of us, when we made it to manhood, we still had those little boy issues on the inside. So I have a lot of work to do with men, and breaking those men who are held internally captive and allowing them to walk into the kingship that God has called them into.
Well, you said a lot in such a short period of time, but I want to go back and unpack something that you shared. You said, every day my wife and I discuss this. How important is having a partner to support you in your greatness? And how important is it to have a partner on a day-to-day basis to share your heart and your soul with as you're building something together? Because Reginald, man, there's a lot of people that are out there whose partners are, as Puffy said, player hating from the side, or Biggie said, player hating from the side, who don't really believe in their partner. But I heard you say that every day my wife and I discuss these things. How has that helped you in developing, not only just writing your books, but then also to then pour back into other people?
My wife is probably my number one cheerleader, and I'll pull a scripture out. So anybody who knows me, I mean, I'm full of the word, right? I mean, I attribute everything that I've done in life to God's grace. But it reminds me of the scripture that says, two are better than one. For woe is the person who is alone and falls down, right? He doesn't have anybody to pick him up. But when there are two, right? When one falls down, there's one to pick each other up. Woe to the person who's alone, right? Because they're cold. It's dark at night. But when they're two, they can keep each other warm. So for me, it's a mastermind. It's the power of two. And I believe that certain things are unlocked when you can mastermind with someone else. When you can share your vision, excuse me, and someone else can share their vision and you can bring the two together. I feel like it's a certain energy and synergy that just unlocks. And for me, being married has probably pushed me to the greatest levels in my life, period. I had ideas of books well before I met my wife. But guess what? When did I publish my first book? The same year we got married. Why did I publish my book the same year that we got married? Because I had a wife that said, okay, well, you've been talking about these things. What are you going to do about it? And I love that accountability piece. And you get that when you have a partner.
Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give anyone in their own pursuit of greatness? Because you write about it, man, you lecture about it, you do everything with a level of greatness, but somebody out there listening is stuck. Yeah. And so what can you say to them who is pursuing their own level of greatness?
There are 5 mental hindrances that I want you to be aware of and that I want you to pay attention to, right? And number 1 is wrong associations. So one of our mentors used to always say that if you hang around 9 broke people, chances are you're going to be number 10, right? But then on the flip side, he said it this way. If you hang out with 9 successful people, chances are you're going to become number 10, right? So associations are everything. So for that person that's stuck right now, I want you to really check who's in your space, because there's 2 things that people are either going to do for us in our space. They're either going to help us up or they're going to hold us back. So many of us, we say we want to do something, but then we go right back to that wrong environment, that wrong association. We go right back to hanging around those individuals with that negative thinking, those negative habits. So we'll never get what we say we want. We're a walking contradiction. So for that person that's stuck, I want you to, number 1, mind your associations. But number 2 is fear of what other people think. You have to let go of that, right? In order for us to really get to the greatness that we were born to, we have to get past what other people say. I mean, people had bad things to say about Jesus Christ, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Gandhi. I mean, some of these people were the greatest people that walked the face of this earth, and they still had folks who did not like them for whatever reason. So you got to let go of that fear of what other people think as you pursue greatness. Number 3 is understand that failure and adversity will come. And I love failure, right? A lot of people are so afraid and they get so bound up about failure. But what I love about failure is that it's a lesson learned. It's a teachable moment, because now you get to say, okay, I did it that way last time. It didn't work. What can I do to make it better this time, right? It gives you a chance to retool, retweak, and come back stronger and better than ever. So failure is not something to be afraid of. It's something that we should be embracing, right? Adversity, when it comes, don't take on that victim mentality. Oh, woe is me. Look at what the lesson is that you can learn in that situation and take that lesson to make you become a better person. And that's how the greats become great, right? Number 4, a lack of obsession. People say they want to do a thing. They treat it like a hobby, Dr. Shields. Yeah, I want to be the next basketball player. I'm going to the NBA. Brother, man, you shooting less than an hour a day in the gym. You're not doing push-ups. You're not doing sit-ups, squats. You're not obsessed, right? Grant Cardone wrote a book a couple of years ago, Be Obsessed or Be Average. Those that are great are obsessed. How do you think LeBron James is one of the kings in the NBA? The man put in over 10,000 hours of his craft. And if you're not going to put in the work, if you're not going to put in the 10,000 plus hours, then, sad to say, Dr. Shields, greatness is not for you.
Yeah, Damon Dash, not Damon Dash, Damon John. I love Shark Tank. And when people come on, he said, just be honest, call it a hobby. This is just a hobby. This is not something that you want to do on a day-to-day basis. And a lot of people get hurt. They think that he and other folks like us are downing them. I was thinking about my nephew, my god sister just transitioned last week. And my nephew spoke at the services and I couldn't make it because of just a scheduling conflict. And it killed me that I couldn't, but I watched it online and he talked about how hard his mother was and how she picked him up and he didn't make the basketball team. And he was in a car crying, upset. And she says that you're just not good. And he looked at her, was like, I can't believe mom said. And he said, as he got older, he realized he was not good. In his mind, he was good, but he didn't put in the work. And so he thought that she was being cold and hard, but he said, you just aren't good. And let's own that. But she didn't say you can't be good. She said, right now, you are not good. And so I think people lie to themselves on a day-to-day basis. Many of us do it. We lie and we say it's just help. No, be real clear. You just talked about it. You want to be like LeBron. You don't even own a pair of tennis shoes. You don't even work out. You don't have a basketball. You don't even have a gym membership, but you want to be the best. And people, when I look at them on social media, they say, I want to do what you're doing. I said, no, you don't. Because if you want to do what I'm doing, you got to do what I did. You hear me? If you want to do what I'm doing, you have to do what I did past tense. And so the reality is I'm not running. I'm just doing my thing. And so keep going with your list. I'm loving this. I'm writing it down.
That's a whole word in itself. You got the hair on my arm standing up, Dr. Shields. I'm so excited. So, and that was 4 of them, right? So the last one is that a lot of those people that don't achieve greatness is because of lack of wise counsel, right? What I loved about what you said earlier, you gave homage to your mentor, and I admire that man as well, president of UMBC, Dr. Rabowski, right? If you want to be great, how about talking to those who are great? How about studying them? How about picking their brains, finding out what are they reading? What are they doing? Where are they spending their time? Lack of wise counsel. So for those that have, those internal beliefs, those struggles, you want to achieve greatness, but you don't know where to start. Start with those 5 mental hindrances. Address what they are in your life. Begin to put plans in place to address those things, and then you'll be well on your way.
Well, one of the things I know that you've been great at is being a father, and we are celebrating fathers all week. And you talked about being a father. You talked about your 5 children. What impact has fatherhood had on your life, both as a child and now as a father yourself?
It's everything. So for anybody that doesn't know me, I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, right? I became a teenage father. So everybody was shocked. So
you weren't even supposed to make it. Like I shouldn't even be talking to you right now. You're supposed to be locked up, no good, trifling dad, down at child support, fighting for you. You shouldn't be married. You shouldn't have other kids. So all those things that the stats say about men, in particular men of color. And when I hear those things about teen fathers, when I hear people like, oh, dads aren't doing this, and I'm like, who are you talking about? Because the people that I know, I always tell people, you talk about the people in your circle. I'm like, I don't know those people now. Yeah. As a researcher, I can put some research together and claim the opposite. But when people are saying, dads aren't doing this, they're deadbeat dads, I'm like, well, I don't really know who you are, because the men that I know, Black, brown, my Caucasian, Latino brothers and sisters, Asian, they're stepping up to the place. Are there some who don't? Yeah. But you as a teen dad, you're an example of what should happen.
Yeah. I grew up in 21213. So if you know that, that's Northeast Baltimore. It's hot. And a lot of people probably wrote me off early. So my daughter actually, she's a driving factor, but I now have 4 sons, right? And it's amazing because I wrote a book a number of years ago, that first book that I told you about in 2015. It was called Serve Yourself to Greatness. And when I wrote it, originally my intent, Dr. Shields, was for that book to be a 30-day book of affirmations for men, right? It was for men, fathers, and husbands. It was an affirmation a day. It was a scripture a day. And I asked you some challenging questions because I wanted you to journal your way to greatness. But what God revealed to me, probably, I want to say maybe last year or the year before last, as my wife and I, again, were talking, God was like, you wrote Serve Yourself to Greatness, not for other men. It was about you. It's about your journey, because you have these 4 sets of eyes that are looking at you, and how dare you go out here into this world and tell other people about being great, and you're not going to be great yourself, right? So that's my driving force, knowing that I have 4 sons right at home right now and I love it, because this virtual environment has really allowed me to be ever present every day. But it's really showing me that I have the potential and the power to shape their minds on what a man looks like, what a man does, what a father looks like, what a father does, and what a husband looks like, and what a husband does. And it's absolutely a privilege and an honor. Some days it's buck wild because the ages, Dr. Shields, are 10, 5, 2, and 7 months. So there is no 2 days that are the same, but I enjoy the honor and privilege that I get to serve my family.
Well, I heard you use this word serve on several occasions, not only just talking about your family, but also a part of your book. What does the acronym SERVE mean to you? And then why is that important?
That's how I'm here today, right? Serve. God began to whisper into my ears in 2009. And this is powerful, Dr. Shield. Let this be something that people chew on for a long time. 2009, God began to speak to me, and God began to tell me that I would be a leader of leaders and that I would be a leader of men. And in 2009, I replied back to God, God, you crazy. You got somebody else. I'm barely leading myself in 2009. And then I had the revelation in 2019, a whole decade later. As I looked up, my wife and I, we're serving. We have our own HR consulting firm. We have another business that we do on the side. And then we opened up a third. So in 2019, as we were talking, I realized that I actually was a leader of leaders because we were leading in business. We were leading in our community. And then also when I looked up in 2019, I realized that I was actually serving and still currently serve as the men's ministry leader at my church. So whereas in 2009, God began to whisper into my ear that you would lead leaders and that you would lead men, and I rejected that idea. Here it is a whole decade later, his word came to pass. I found myself wholeheartedly leading leaders and leading men. And it's really all about, for me, service. So SERVE is an acronym. I broke it down 3 ways now. But the original acronym that came to me in a dream was seek excellence, respect, value every day. So every day that I wake up, right, I tell myself that, first of all, it's a brand new day. I need to be excellent at what I'm doing. If I'm going to do anything, I might as well do it excellent or not do it at all. I can't stand average. I don't like mediocre. Either you're going to be excellent at it or you're not going to do it at all, right? So every day I chase after excellence. I chase after being the best version of myself. Every day that I wake up, right? Respect. That the R stands for respect. It's a brand new 24 hours. I always start my day realizing that somebody yesterday didn't make it over, right? So I already respect the grace that God has given me by just allowing me to open my eyes. I'm breathing. My heart is pumping right now as we speak. Somebody who was here yesterday had plans on being here today, and they're no longer here. So I respect my 24 hours by using it to be the best version of myself. And then that V stands for value, right? One of the things we tell our boys all the time, things and people should be better after an encounter with you. You should leave things better after an encounter with you. And how do you do that? You add value. So every day that I wake up, my SERVE mantra, seek excellence, respect, value every day.
Yo, man, that is a great way to wrap up this section of the show. I don't even know what to say after that. I'm thinking about my own children. In particular, I'm thinking about my son, and I definitely need to wake him up as soon as I finish this interview and tell him, you need to leave some value as you, like we say, you leave the world a better place than you were. So sort of like a cliche, but I don't even know how to come behind that. But I do have this final part. You have several books. Talk about your books, and then how can my listeners get a copy of your book, and if they want to reach out to you to hear more from you.
Absolutely. So website, I'll just go ahead and get that out of the way right now. Name of the organization is Serve4Men. The 4 is the number 4. So the website is serve4men.com. You can find my books on the website. You can also hit the contact us button on that website as well, and it'll send me an email straight to, to my email chain. But the 4 books that I've written, my greatest book, my most prized possession to me is called Your Greatness Unleashed. And Dr. Shields, that's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we're all here. Our greatness unleashed is the reason why we're created, you know, and I love to post on social media. And after I post your greatness unleashed, I always say something along the lines of, right, that's what the world is waiting on. But how long will you keep us waiting is the question. So Dr. Shields, your greatness unleashed is what we're waiting on. How long will you keep us waiting on that? Because I want people to realize that greatness is your destiny. And if you're not walking in that, why not? And when will you get started? Because you have something that you need to leave behind. So my website is probably the best place to reach me. Serve4men.com. Email, if you want to email me directly, it's just Reggie@serve4men.com.
So Reginald, you've written all these books, you're doing all these amazing things. I know you got something new in 2021 going into 2022. What is something that you're currently working on that may be somewhat different from all the other things that you've been doing?
Yeah, great question, actually. So one of the projects that I'm working on right now that I'm super excited about and proud about is it's called #Where There's a Will, There's a Way. And one of the things that my wife and I have found to be true through research is that in America, North America, for example, about 7 out of 10 homes don't have wills and estate plans in place. But when we dug deeper, we realized that 9 out of 10 of our Black and brown families, our Black and brown community members don't have wills or estate plans in place. So we've created a program. We've partnered with a program where we actually are educating others on the fact that you can get wills, you can get estate plans. And whether you're a single person or a married couple, you can get that for less than $300. The national average is about $800 to $1,000 per person. We have a way where individuals or family members can get their wills and estate plans for less than $300. So our goal is to educate, empower, and protect as many Black and brown families in 2021 as possible. My own personal goal is 1,000, Dr. Shields, but I would love to blow past that, to be honest.
Now, Reginald, you specifically talk about people of color. We die at a higher rate than most people. Why do you then think people don't want to leave a will or have chosen not to?
I think it's a miseducation. A lot of people, when I first was introduced to the will idea, which was in my mid to late 20s, I assumed that it was for old people. I wasn't educated. And then when I was properly educated, I realized that everybody needs a will. So it's a lack of education for one, but it's also people don't really think that they have anything to leave behind. And one of the things that I want to impress upon anybody who's listening right now, if you are a parent, right, and you pass away before your children and there's no will in place, I want you to know right now, without a shadow of a doubt, that the state in which you live in will step in and to begin to make decisions for your children and your assets because you failed to do so. So we have things to protect, right? We just don't know about wills and estate plans because it's never been a conversation in our families over the years. So what I'm trying to do is be a part of a world where we reverse that narrative to where 9 out of 10 Black families, brown families don't have wills, to 9 out of 10 Black families and brown families do have wills, because we're going to educate them properly and protect them. And it's affordable.
Well, I think that's a great idea, man. When I used to, when I was a high school student, Reginald, I had a job selling cemetery plots, man. Now you laugh, and I love this job. Telemarketing. My cousin and I used to sit next to each other. Man, people would hang up on us so many times, Reginald, but I loved the job, man. I loved it. And then of course, if they went out and sold a plot, then we would get more percentage. But I was 17 years old, still in high school, telemarketing, sit in a call center with some other high school, college students, calling people. Man, people would curse me. I'm like, first of all, I want to be like, you're going to die, right? And I know the neighborhood that you live in. To be real clear, you want me to get real personal? I know the zip code, the area code that you live in. You probably going to die real soon. You better that's what I was thinking at a 17-year-old. But as I got older, I'm thinking, we all need this. And what you're talking about is really, really important. And it's unfortunate that we shy away from this, because we know the reality is in many communities, what do we leave our family members? Debt. We leave them a whole bunch of debt. And there are some things that we do have, family things that we've held on to, photos, family heirlooms. All of those things are really important. And you're right. I've gone to estate sales and I've come up. I met a guy, Reginald, 2 weeks ago. His whole business, a young dude, his whole business are estate sales. He just goes in and buys up all of this stuff. And it's unfortunate because I know that these things and that things, I know they have stories behind them. And so you're so right. Don't let the government come in and take your stuff. And I love where there's a will, there's a way. So I encourage all of my listeners out there to not only just pick up the books, the things that you discuss and books around greatness, but also prepare for your family and leave your family a legacy, not just that. And that's some great things that we all hold on to. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. Listen, if you're listening to this right now and you're not feeling good about yourself, you need some more help that we can't give to you, because the reality is this: my greatness is at an all-time high right now. My energy to hear my brother, Reginald, talk about how great he has become, and also the struggles and challenges, and also building a family together to make his organization much, much stronger. So Reginald, final message. I need you to talk to my fathers. We're celebrating Father's Day. What message do you have for those fathers that are out there who are doing what they should be doing, because we want to keep them encouraged, but then also these fathers who are struggling? They're trying to get back in their children's lives, and they may have some issues with their partner, or they may have their own personal issues that they're dealing with. We want to celebrate those fathers for Happy Father's Day. So Reginald, take the show, brother. Take it away.
First of all, men, hang in there. Well, one of the reasons why I do this work is because I know that there's no guide to manhood or fatherhood. So I'll leave you with these final words. Again, I'm pulling scripture. That's just what I am. That's what motivates me. That's my foundation. Do not be weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap a harvest if you faint not. Do not give up, men, fathers, husbands, when time gets hard. For when the right time comes, you will reap the harvest that you have planted seeds for over these years, if you don't quit. So quitting is not an option. You need grit, you need perseverance, you need character, you need integrity. But first of all, and most importantly, you need to know who you are. So you need to spend some time discovering who you are, leading yourself. That way you can turn around and properly lead others, and they'll willingly follow.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But Reginald Bishop, Reginald Imam, Reginald Priest, Reginald, servant leader, Reginald Gant, you cannot leave because you are full of the word. But I'm about to challenge you. This is part 2, which is brought to us by Mountain Made. The questions are very different and the response is different. I'm going to throw out a question to you. It's called the Super Bomb questions. And Bishop, Imam, Reginald, Rabbi, Reginald Priest, Gant, I need you to respond as quickly as possible. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. What's your favorite word?
Serve.
What's your favorite quote, scripture, or Bible verse?
As a man thinks in his heart, so is he.
What's your superpower?
Empowerment.
What's your spirit animal?
I have no clue. I'm going to say eagle.
Eagle. What moves you to tears of joy?
Oh, man. Family.
What moves you to tears of sorrow?
Not living up to my potential.
What do you wish you had more time to do?
Wow, great question. Serve more.
What is the book or books you've given most as a gift, and why?
Your Greatness Unleashed, because I truly believe that's why we're all here.
What values do you live by every day?
Excellence, respect, value, integrity, character.
Reginald Gant, if you were in the Mr. America talent competition, what would your talent be?
The ability to encourage others quickly.
Well, Reginald Gant, you encourage me and you encourage the thousands of listeners that we have all over the world. I thank you for hanging out with me today. I was inspired. I'm sure my listeners were inspired. I want you to go out and read, pick up all his books, listen to his conversations, follow him on all social media to bless yourself even more. This was just a snippet of how great brother Reginald Gant is, and I want you to find out more. So Reginald, thanks for hanging out with me today.
I appreciate you so much, Dr. Shields. Thank you.
And I also want to thank my amazing engineer, Alexander Blanc, my super duper producer, Nicole Klempaka, Supremacy for our theme music, but all of you for listening. Listen, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment. We're on every social media platform. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know who you want to bring on the show, and let us know how my guests have poured into you. Make sure you subscribe and do all those things. If you want to know more about me, you can go to drdrlds.com, leave a comment, stop being stingy, and share me with all of your friends, and go out there and do something amazing for someone other than yourself. You've been listening to Sound Bombing. Peace. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
The Super Bomb questions are brought to you by Mountain Made CBD. Mountain Made is changing the CBD game by offering a line of high-dose CBD tablets at an affordable price. Their products are THC-free and third-party tested for accuracy, cleanliness, and potency. Their products, which ship nationwide, include Build for CBD saturation, Boost for precision titration, and Recover for rest and rehab. With 9 years experience in hemp and fitness, Mountain Made's founders are focused on creating a quality product to help those who live an activated lifestyle. Check out mountainmade.life. Again, that's mountainmade.life to find out more about how their products can help you crush life. Remember, their products ship nationwide. Go check out their website today and follow them on social media at Mountain Made. That's the @ MNTMADE. Our staff at Sound Balming uses Build before a morning workout, which helps to push our bodies to a whole new level on a daily basis. Try Build, try Boost, try Recover. Our staff is using these products to enhance our active lifestyle naturally, and we are crushing life with Mountain Made CBD, and you can too. Start today by going to mountainmade.life and ordering Build, Boost, Recover, or the multitude of other products that they have which will enhance your lifestyle. I promise you, you won't regret it.